Okay. Hey guys, it's Phantom, and welcome back, or welcome to another episode of the Ask Phantom podcast. Now, this is my, second time filming this episode. The first time, um, the first time, well, it was a little bit too loud. So I'm sitting here today refilming it. So as usual, it's the K-12 episode. I have my window capture off right now because I'm gonna, as usual, switch browsers and talk through before I actually talk about it. So, hold on a minute. So, I've been kind of waiting not waiting. I feel like I've been wanting to film this episode for quite a while, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I do have a few other school-related I do have a few other school-related videos coming. I mean, it does seem fitting, but at the same time, I've been wanting to do other topics as well, like mental health awareness or something like that, as well. So I guess I can tie that into the school episodes. I guess I can tie that into school topics somewhere as well. So, so let's see. I cannot remember what site. I think it's this one. I could be wrong. I think it's this one here. If I remember correctly. So, I've been meaning to talk about this for quite some time now. So yeah. If you don't know what K-12 is, it's another online school. So pretty sure they have, okay, I'm not sure if this is let me just, I think it's this one. Could be wrong, but I thought there was more. To it. Oh wait, no, this is just a separate website, I guess. So I'm just gonna see if this is the right website because I literally forgot. Okay, yeah, this is it. I think. Yeah, this is the right website. I mean, there's a bunch of like K-12 websites. So, well, not really. It's all connected. It's all sort of connected, but like this is the main page of the site that you would see. I guess you could say. So like the main page looks like this. So yeah, they have like a bunch of different options. Okay, so let me just talk for a bit before I get into all this. So, if you're new to the podcast, like if this is your first time listening to me or you have no idea what this section of the podcast is about, this is regarding this podcast ranges from everything to careers to schooling, from elementary to college level if you decide to go to college, and a lot more it's like careers, etc. I'll basically talk about pretty much anything from schooling to college. I mean, college counts as schooling, so that'll be in there as well. And I mean, you don't have to go to college if you don't want to, but because it's a choice. But if you decide to, maybe this podcast will help you. I don't know. So, usually I go, usually I do a lot of research, and this section of the podcast started because last year last year was obviously 2020, and 2020 I would say was a difficult year for a lot of people because you were transitioning from those of you that were in school at the time that are probably still in school. Some people probably have graduated already, but have went through that. So the point of this section of the podcast is that there are other ways to get educated rather than just traditional brick and mortar schools. Plus, for some people, school can be a very stressful environment. I don't know if you've ever experienced stress in high school. I mean, I'm just using high school as an example, but if any of you have experienced stress in school or whatever, or just feel like it's not working out for you, then there are other ways to get an education. So let me just kind of go through this. So okay, K-12 has been around for a long time, but let me just tell you that online school isn't the typical way to, online school isn't the typical way to attend school, to get an education, because a lot of people assume that brick and mortar is for everybody when it's not, and some people don't really learn all that well in a group setting or in a classroom setting. So working independently may work for them. I'm not saying it works for everybody, but there are some people that work better independently. I know I was one of those people. When I was in school, I feel like I worked better independently and by myself. No hate, I just went through a lot. As I said, stress is very normal when you're school age. Probably not the amount of stress that some people are under these days, but it's very hard to concentrate in school and get decent grades if you're, and be able to pass all your classes if you're overwhelmed a lot. You may not know what's causing said stressors, but it's kind of hard to focus in class if you're overwhelmed or stressed or can't focus, or all of the above. So for some people, working independently and setting their own schedules. Well, K-12 is a tuition-free public school option, but it's online. So they obviously have places you can go, learning centers. Obviously, these places obviously have learning centers. Not all of them do, though, because some schools just don't have learning centers. Some do, some don't. It depends on the school. But people have a lot of misconceptions about online school in general, socialization and the socialization aspect, the fact that you won't make friends, or the fact that they think you won't make friends when you will. It's kind of up to the person if they want to make friends or not, in a sense. You can't just force friendships. And I feel like in a school where everyone knows everybody, you're kind of stuck with the same people, so you're forced to be friends with them. But usually, friends, but usually you learn to make friends on your own. But I think that's just how society is. So, as I said, a lot of these schools have been around for a long time, but online school is still a fairly new thing, because not a lot of people know about it. So let me just read this. Let us tell you a little bit about ourselves. Since 2000, Stride has been a teacher in K-12 or kindergarten through 12th grade, which here in the States is a high school senior. Different countries it's different. So it depends where you live, but usually for the States and a few other countries, or a few neighboring countries, 12th grade is a high school senior. And then, we have college and universities, obviously. So, So it says, since 2000, Stride K-12 has been a leader in K-12 online education, putting quality hands-on and online curriculum directly into the homes of the students and families we support. Through Stride K-12 powered school options, we empower students to learn in the ways that are best for them in their own place and at their own pace. And then they kind of rebranded. I mean, it's still kind of it's still known as the same company, but they kind of rebranded the name a little bit. So it says, since 2000, Stride K-12, as I said, just ignore that. Sometimes I lose my place. As of December 16th of last year, K-12 Inc. is becoming Stride Inc. At the Stride Company will continue serving families and students of Stride K-12 powered schools and will expand our reach to offer learning solutions to students of all ages. And then it says, learn more about Stride, and it has, key facts. Here are some key facts that they have. So they have like a bunch of like tabs there. So key facts that they have here are 2 million plus, or over 2 million students have chosen Stride K-12 powered schools, tuition free. The thing about K-12 is that it's tuition free. So like, I mean, some schools you have to pay tuition, which is like, you have to pay to go there. And for most public schools, but like, okay, since they do public and private school options, usually you have to pay for private school. You have to pay a tuition for private school, but since it's free, I'm pretty sure you don't. Well, I don't really know if you have to pay for the private school option or if it's just the public school option you don't have to pay for. So, I mean, I'll probably look into that. I mean, I've done a lot of research on that, but I'm not too sure. So, yeah, so it says 2 million plus students have chosen Stride K-12 powered schools, tuition free. Stride K-12 powered schools offered in many different states, so not just, the main commercials that you see on television. Like, it's not just offered in one state, it's offered in several different states. And most likely, and I think internationally too, I could be wrong. I think they offer this internationally as well. And then they have career preparation for middle and high school students. So I think that's like, I think career prep is the equivalent to college prep. I could be wrong. I think that's the same thing. Or it could be that they have like college prep and career prep classes. I could be, as I said, I could be wrong. But I think that is the think that is about the same thing. So it's been 20 minutes of filming. So I think that could be the same thing. So career preparation for middle and high school students. I think it's kind of tied into college prep. I don't know. I know that they have college prep and career prep courses. I mean, when I was in school, I'm not sure if we had career prep. I know we had like other opportunities, like, you know, occupation centers and stuff like that, but I'm not sure if it's the same thing. So they have career preparation for middle and high school students, and they have public and private school options to fit students' needs, and it's obviously said it's been transforming education for decades. And if you need a little math on that, it's basically over 20 years, because 2000 was over 20 years ago, obviously. So they have it in sections. So it's and they have the company mission here. I won't read all of the website because you can go on and read it yourself. If you want to, but I recommend using their YouTube channel to find their proper website, which is, well, the sites are all connected to each other, but this is like the main website. So I recommend using their YouTube channel links in their About tab to help you find it, if you're interested. So it says, our mission: we help students reach their full potential through inspired teaching and personalized learning. Over 2 million students have chosen K-12 powered schooling and trusted that their choice would provide them with a quality education that meets them where they are and helps them realize a bright future. We don't take that trust lightly. Our mission is to do what drives us to be better and do better for students and families everywhere. Like, I mean, let's say some people, I'm not saying like everyone has the ability to do online public or private schools, but if you have that opportunity, and if you know that it'll be better for you as a student, or, you know, just in general, because let's say maybe you want to be more involved, maybe you want to be more involved in the, I don't know, as a learning coach. If you don't know what a learning coach is, it's basically the parent or guardian that kind of helps guide their student through their education, or kind of helps the student in a way. So, I mean, it is public school, but not everyone has the luxury to, you know, be at home in times like this. But in times like this, with everything going on, people are rethinking, you know, if they should switch or not. And that's very valid. That's a very valid reason. So, yeah, let's continue on. As I said, I won't read this whole thing. You can go on and read it for yourself, as I've said before. So it says what their values are. Stride employees embody passion, accountability, courage, and trustworthiness to make a valuable impact in the lives of students and their families. Passion, accountability, courage, and trustworthiness. So, this quote says, knowing that the work I do knowing that the work I do day in and day out is making a difference across the country and world provides tremendous self-pride and dedication. The feeling of knowing your work is changing a student's life. The feeling of knowing your work is changing a student's life is monumental. And then, so this is like the quote for passion. And then the quote for accountability. Well, this is long. Every day at K-12 gives you opportunities to hold yourself accountable. Like, okay, I truly resonate with this because when you're in online school, or, you know, if you're doing school and no one is there to tell you, oh, you have to get blah, blah, blah done during, you know, before blah, blah, blah time. Like, you don't really have someone telling you have to get something done. You just know to get it done. And if you don't, like, you'll have to take responsibility and accountability for not getting said work done. You know, like, unlike being in a brick and mortar setting where you're around teachers all the time, I mean, you obviously have teachers in online school, like, everyone does. Like, obviously, you know, this is a public school and everything. Like, they have public and private schools and more flexible school options. But knowing that a teacher, that you're not, like, in a classroom setting where a teacher can keep eyes on you, you have to be responsible and held accountable and take accountability if you don't get something done, or if an assignment is late, or, you know, so on and so forth. So, like, I totally resonate with this. I totally understand this. Every day at K-12 gives you opportunities to hold yourself accountable for yourself and your team, whether you manage people or not. The invitation is always there in almost everything you do. In a virtual workplace, no one is watching. Okay, like, see, I totally understand this. Not just from, like, a former student's perspective, but just from my perspective in general. So, in a virtual workplace, no one is watching to see how many different things you're doing, how many different people you are helping, all of the interruptions in a perfectly planned day, which was unexpected, or the unoccasional but unavailable bad tech days. You can tell them, but most of the time, it probably won't even occur to you. They just know if you get something done for them that they needed, usually so that they could get something done for someone else, because everyone has important work to do, and yet everyone is reasonably patient and deeply appreciative. The people we serve and support in HR serve and support our students. At every level of the organization, there is a discernible sense, I hope I said that right, of our common mission to transform learning for every student that we serve, that infuses our interactions and that helps keep you going. If you are self-managed, purpose-driven, and like new challenges, K-12 offers a perfect environment to hone your accountability and skills in a meaningful and satisfying way. So I totally resonated with this, like not just as a student, but like in school you're always told, like for some people, like when you're in middle school, things that you're told in middle school by, your teachers could be, for example, like when you get to high school, teachers are not going to be, like teachers might not be, okay, teachers are understanding, but like what I mean is with late work. For example, like when you were in middle school or junior high, you can, like, teachers would always tell you in high school, teachers won't accept late work, or teachers won't accept blah blah blah, or a teacher might not be on you all the time, so you have to hold yourself accountable for what you're doing. You have to make sure your work is done on time, and if not, you'll suffer the consequences of that. So I kind of understand that from a student perspective, from a former student perspective, because I was in school not too long ago. And then courage. Educators are, as I said, you can read the rest of this for yourself. I'm just gonna go through this. You can read it for yourself. Educators are nurturers and motivators. You can read this yourself if you want, like just pause to read. And then you can read this for yourself as well. Just pause if you want to read it. So that was the So they have like some videos here talking about, where teachers talk about their experience and everything and kind of how they do things. But I mean, you do have to be, like, a school has to be accredited for you to, okay, so there's like a bunch of different, obviously, educational degrees, but like there are specific things that you need to do to become an online educator. Like you need certain degrees for that, obviously. And I know the educational field is very vast, so kind of just look into it. So here's a video of one teacher, and they are an online English teacher. So let's kind of watch this and get can get a look about what they do, or kind of look or see and hear about their experience. Okay. Okay, hopefully I fixed it.
The lights go on when you can see a student understands what you're teaching them.
Being a teacher, I like building relationships with my students.
They are there for you, and if you are confused at any time, they're there to help you because they want you to succeed.
My door, so to speak, is always open. My parents are able to contact me at any time.
If she has any questions or concerns, she can go directly to her teacher.
I really liked the availability of the teachers. If you were really struggling with something, generally within the day they would be able to get back to you.
With parents and learning coaches, it's so important to keep open lines of communication because they're such an integral part of the kids' learning.
They really listen to the parents, and it's for the better. So if they see that something is not working, they completely remove it, and then they try something else according to the individual need of the students.
I love being able to see the success in students. I love being able to see the growth.
The teachers as well play a big role. They get to see how he's progressing.
I had several of my students saying that I got into this school or got into this college, or asking me for a letter of recommendation.
All the teachers were very supportive. There was never a teacher that I had that I was I felt frustrated because I was I didn't feel heard.
To inspire others, to give hope, and to change lives. So that's why I want to be a teacher.
So that was one video. So this one says, I try to link the math to everyday life, which I kind of understand that because some types of math are linked to everyday life. Let's say if you take cons math or something, for example, they try to link that math to everyday life. Or things that you would do or whatever in everyday life. So they try to make it as relatable as possible, which I feel is pretty important because you want to be able to kind of understand a subject more, especially if you don't understand it all that well. You want to be able to understand it as best you can, and relating it to real life situations could help a lot of people. Could help a lot of students.
I wanted to become a teacher because I had many inspiring teachers. I remember a high school English teacher, and she was very different from the traditional direct teaching kind of teacher, and she just changed everything for me because she was hands-on. She really, brought the classroom to life, and I still keep in touch with her till this day, and it has been really such a blessing to have her in my life. And then my piano professor at Indiana University, he was so encouraging. And I just felt like I wanted to do what they were doing. And it didn't help that I watch a lot of movies with teachers, Stand and Deliver, Dangerous Minds, Lean on Me. And I was like, I want to do what they are doing. So to inspire others, to give hope, and to change lives. So that's why I want to be a teacher. When I first started teaching, I didn't really do that. It was just teaching the math. Then I started seeing more and more students are disengaged. So I try to now link it to their everyday life. For example, if I'm teaching them the quadratic function, I can teach them in a formula, I can show them in a graph, but they will be like, what do I use this for? So for example, the lesson I would use is I would use a Desmos program. And in the Desmos program, there are little videos of gentlemen shooting basketballs, hoops. And it would give them different examples and asking them if the gentleman will make the basket. And even students who do not know what a quadratic function is, they can view and say, yes, he can make the basket. No, he's too far. And then based on that, I build on it. And so they know, oh my goodness, shooting a basketball is the quadratic, parabola.
That's a great way to understand it. That's a great way to understand it, actually. I totally agree with this because a lot of students do get disengaged with subjects. Like, I mean, even if you're like in college, you may get disengaged with subjects as well. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Okay, so let's continue watching this.
Or even a soccer ball is a parabola. So trying to bring that to life to them, And then even students who struggle with math or they at first do not have a good grasp, when they are able to answer these questions and say, oh, I can answer that, and they feel much better about themselves. It feels really good, gratifying, like you have been able to make a change. Maybe it's a little change, but it feels really good. And that's what I think teachers love to see, that they have made, a difference in someone's life.
And then this video says, or the quote says, I have created my programs to adjust to their home environment. And then this is from a PE teacher's point of view or perspective.
I teach physical education, health, nutrition and wellness, life skills, and early childhood education. I was in
Wow, that is a lot of subjects. I mean, they're all very necessary subjects, but not every. I don't think every teacher is that vast, so I think that's very great. Like, you can go to one individual and learn all these different subjects.
Brick and mortar for a couple decades, and then our IQ Academy moved to add the K-12 services and online schooling. So I jumped on the bandwagon and wanted to be part of this new frontier, and I became an online teacher at that time. When it comes to physical education, everything is right there in front of them at the computer and in their home environment. I have created my programs to adjust to their home environment. So when they leave, they now have a better sense of.
Like, okay, this is honestly great to see this from a former brick and mortar teacher's perspective, because she formerly taught in brick and mortar schools, and now she does online schooling. So this is a great video to watch if you're confused or kind of want to learn more about it.
What they can do personally for their own physical well-being. My students are ready to accept the challenge, and they get all the attention that they deserve.
too long, so I'll probably watch maybe one video.
So my name is Anna Harris. My two kids are Sarai, she's 8, and Micah's 5.
Like what to expect. I know this is old, but it's still relevant.
Choosing a school for your child is one of the most important.
I was like 4 years old, but it's still pretty relevant. So.
Important decisions every parent faces. An online K-12 education is one of many options. And like all choices, there are important factors to take into account. Some of the key advantages students have found in attending online schools is the flexibility it affords them to determine how much time is necessary to spend on each day's lessons.
You know, sometimes you may be involved in, let's say, math, and you just want to chip away at a few math lessons while you're involved in math already, and you're just kind of on a roll. And so you can do it that way.
Say if she has a doctor's appointment in the morning, then I know she has assignments that she can do later on in that evening. We are always very mindful to stay on track with her assignments, and I feel that's very important.
Another advantage parents find is the increased direct involvement in their child's daily classes. In the role of learning coach, parents support their child's pursuit of educational goals.
What I like best about online school.
Yeah, you're more, in this type of sense, you're more involved and you know what the student is capable of. I mean, obviously you know what the student is capable of, but you're more involved, so you kind of have a hands-on approach to everything and know exactly what they're doing, exactly what they may need assistance in, and you know, you're there if they need help.
Is being able to be here with my son.
Which you don't exactly get in a brick and mortar setting, because you don't know what your student is learning or like if they understand it or not. I mean, you kind of get it, but it's like you're more involved. That's what I'm gonna say.
And help him become an independent learner and find his own passions.
Some students also find that learning at home presents fewer distractions than in a brick and mortar school.
Having an online school allows me to focus more on the information and what I'm learning, as opposed to where I am and who I'm with.
I'm concentrating on the teaching and they're concentrating on me. They're not worried about what 30 other people in the room are doing. And that is a huge, huge chunk of what makes this work for so many students.
While a virtual school environment has many advantages, there are also challenges, as it does require a significant time commitment, online as well as offline, to successfully complete required lessons.
I attend my live class connect sessions 3 every day, 5 days a week. My lessons are not only on the screen, but have books like my social studies and my literature and my science.
Some students find the amount of time required to be in front of a computer daunting, especially in grades 9 through 12.
If you fall behind, you have a whole support system to get you back on track. But it is a 5 to 6 hour day, just like a regular class.
Our courses require students to work independently as well. This requires the oversight of a dedicated learning coach, especially when students are in the early elementary years.
Kindergarten to 2nd grade, you are all in. However many hours your child is working, that's how many hours you have to work. You know, it's all hands-on. You're helping them to move from this dependent learner, student on you, to an independent learner who's able to get up and move through their work without you.
It's so cool to see her when she clicks and she says, "Oh, I got that."
Online schooling requires a time commitment from learning coaches. This time can vary based on the independence of your student. For parents who have never schooled at home, it can be a big adjustment.
Some days they're not going to want to do anything. And that's where you as a learning coach have to kick in and, encourage them to do what you need to do, but let them know that this is school and it's important, and there is no sitting back and not doing anything just because you don't feel like it. That's not the way the world operates.
K-12 powered schools do not leave you to master the learning coach role and responsibilities on your own. There are live help sessions, workshops, and events. Help is available to you.
it gives me the opportunity to see her growing and developing and learning the things that she should, being able to give her that extra support because I know exactly where she is and exactly what she's learning and exactly how to help her through. So that's what I just absolutely love about online schooling for her.
Are there any more good ones I could watch? Let's see. Like an inside look at virtual middle school, virtual elementary school. I thought there would be an inside look at virtual high school, but I guess.
So my name is Anna Harris. My two kids are Sarai, she's 8, and Micah's 5.
Oh, here it is. Inside look at a virtual high school. Okay, so let's. Okay, so. Let's watch this, and then I guess we'll be done because as I said, I don't want this episode to be too long. So, where is it? Oh, here it is. I found it. Inside look at a virtual high school.
Hello, I'm Dr. Kelly Van Sand, head of school with K-12, and I'd like to welcome you to take a test drive through our high school public school curriculum. First up, at the very top of your list, you will find Class Connect sessions. It is there that you will find a link to all of your daily sessions that are required for live class attendance and others that are optional for your live class attendance. When you are engaged in the school, you will have an entire list here that you'll be able to see when your math class is and your English class and so on, and you'll also be able to look ahead to future days to see what your course list looks like on those particular days. Right below this area, you will find all of the lesson shortcuts. Here you'll see the math courses, ELA is English Language Arts, you'll find handwriting, literature, spelling, vocabulary, and many more courses all listed here. We'll take a look at those in just a moment, but as simple as clicking on that course title, that course will open up and you can begin your work within it. Over here on the right side of the screen, you're going to find links that you will need to use on a daily basis. The first link you'll find is access to the course gradebook. It's in this view that you will be able to see a live look into every single grade in your child's courses. One of the learning coach responsibilities is to monitor the gradebook, ensure there are not missing assignments, and work with your child in order to submit the work that might be missing or overdue, and to monitor to make sure that those grades are progressing and in line with what you expect to see and the high standards that you hold for your own child. Next, you'll find the Class Connect sessions link here. This is important because not only does it re-solidify the information you see here on the home page for today's live class sessions, it also allows you to look ahead into what lies ahead tomorrow or even into next week, and you are also able to access the recordings for all of the previously live class sessions. So if maybe you were absent, out sick, unable to attend a class, your child will actually not miss any school at all, and instead they can watch watch that recording and make sure that they never miss out on crucial content delivered by their teacher. When you click the Contact My Teachers link, it will open an Outlook webmail platform where you are able to interact with your teachers through email. We will issue school email accounts to all students and allow all emails to the learning coach to go directly to the email of your choice. You can always access any email addresses needed to reach out to your teachers and support staff by clicking that link. In the Materials I'll Need area, this is where you are able to see a layout of every single material that will be necessary in order to complete the assigned daily lessons. As the learning coach, you'll want to check this each morning to make sure that you're able to gather the physical materials needed in order to work through today's online school lessons. When you enroll with us, you'll actually receive boxes of materials, workbooks, and textbooks right in the mail to supplement the learning alongside the online school. There are other available links within this area that are resources for students, and you're welcome to check those out at any point in time once you've enrolled. They include areas of encyclopedias, USA Test Prep, or other assessment tools, and some various links that might be specific to your school.
Hey guys, welcome to English. I'm so happy that you are all here today. Welcome to A and to Z and to Jay, and to everyone who is joining us today. So let's start today by taking a look at what is recently past due, and then we're going to take a look at our calendar and see what we've got coming on up. So recently past due was your Unit 7 Glass Menagerie test. If you haven't done that, no worries. You know you have unlimited time until the end of the trimester to get that accomplished. If anybody needs help, make sure you reach out, let me know. Be happy to do a one-on-one, or you can stay after class today and work on that. Additionally, just a friendly reminder, have you turned in your research paper? Please give me a green check if you have turned in your research paper. Fantastic. I see one green check. Waiting for 100% participation. Awesome. Love it. How about you, Jay? Have you turned in your paper yet? If not, no worries. You can send me a message through private chat, and we will figure out a plan to get you successful with that. All right, awesome guys. So this week, as you can tell from the calendar, we are starting a new unit, which is Modern Literature. That is Unit 8, and that deals with modern fiction and nonfiction. So just to get our conversation rolling today, I'm wondering what kind of literature you all prefer. And to do this, you are going to use your polling tools. So would anybody please read the question of the day for us? And then as we read, you can go ahead and choose the type of literature that you like to read. Raise your hand.
Sorry for not talking very much. I'm just trying to pay attention.
If you would like to read. Volunteer? Awesome. Okay. Ooh, everybody wants to read. I love it.
So what we're going to do before we go ahead and take a look at Black Boy by Richard Wright is we're going to make some predictions about the text before we read. Hey, would you go ahead and read these directions for us, please?
In this autobiography, Richard Wright describes his experience with bullies and how his mother helped him to no longer be bullied. Before we read, let's make a prediction. Number 1, Richard Wright's mother protects him from bullies. Number 2, the end justifies the means.
All right, great job. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you so much for that great reading. All right, so your polling tools are on. You can give a green check or a red X. So let's start again with number 1. Do you agree or do you disagree? What is your prediction? Does his mother protect him from bullies? I see one green check so far. What are you thinking? All right, everybody agrees. Go ahead and tell us why. Why did you predict that? Raise your hand if you would like to tell us on the mic. Awesome, 100% participation. Love it. Okay, Z, go ahead and tell us. What do you think? Why do you predict his mother is going to protect him from bullies?
Well, besides like the natural inclination to protection, it also says in the, if you read into the question itself, like how his mother helped him, you know.
So now that we've made a prediction about what modernist literature is about, and we've examined your preferences and saw what genre you prefer, we're going to go ahead and answer that question that we started with. What is modernist literature about? To do that, we're going to have a little fun right now. So I have shared a jigsaw puzzle with you in the chat. Here's what you're going to do. Go ahead and open up a new tab in your browser, and then click that link.
Okay, so that was pretty much it for this podcast episode for now. It's already like over an hour long, and I don't really want to go past that. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, and please subscribe to my channel for more videos, or for more videos / more episodes. And as usual, you can find the podcast on Spotify, Anchor, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.